magical treats taste great, but justice and equality taste better. To combat hate, all ad revenue from my HB Kitchen will be donated to trans and LGBTQ charities. Thank you for supporting the kitchen and helping make the world a better place. Mischief managed. Hello witches, wizards, and those who have just escaped from Azkaban. Welcome back to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Wizarding World books, making recipes for every item of food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we made a magical beetle soup or a homemade cod soup with some squid ink pasta beetles, then check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if it's your first time stopping by the kitchen and you want to see some more Harry Potter recipes, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell. Then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, it's Monday, so let's get to it. For our next recipe from the Prisoner of Azkaban, we are moving on to chapter 2, Aunt Marge's Big Mistake. Just as Harry is going down for breakfast, we see our next item of food. He helped himself to a piece of toast and then looked up at the newsreader on the television. Toast is back again, so this time we need to do something extra special. So toast is back on the menu. I'd say I'm surprised, but I'm not. It does feature quite a few times and we have encountered it before in the Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. I did quite enjoy the lightning bolt shaped loaf of bread, but this time I wanted to do something a little bit different and thought, what would happen if we actually hid the lightning bolt inside? So that's what we're going to do today. It took a few attempts for me to get this right, but the end result was very magical. It looks like a standard loaf of bread, but then we're going to cut into it and reveal that hidden lightning bolt on the inside. And the best part, it doesn't actually take much more work than a standard loaf of bread. This is what you need to do. To begin making your white bread dough, you want to place your flour into a bowl and then make a well in the middle. Pour your salt onto one side and your yeast on the other. I'm then going to pour my olive oil into the middle. To make the perfect temperature lukewarm water, I'm using 1 part boiling water to 2 parts cold water, mixing that together and then pouring it into the center. Mix this on a slow speed using a dough hook on a stand mixer or slowly by hand until the dough starts to come together. You then want to increase the speed and knead for 5 to 10 minutes until it's nice and smooth. Grease a bowl with some olive oil, add your dough in, wrap with cling film, and then leave that to rise for an hour until it's doubled in size. The all-important rise is crucial to getting a great loaf of bread, and that's because it's going to give our yeast time to activate, it's going to start to bubble up, and then when it hits the oven, that's going to expand even more and give us that lovely crumb texture in the middle. So it's important not to skip this step. If you are short for time, rather than try to cut it short, it's better to place it into a warm place, and that's going to speed up the process for you a little bit. Once it is ready though, we do need to shape it before we rise it again so that we get that lovely lift when it hits the oven. Before we colour and shape our dough, we're going to knock back the air slightly and knead that for about 1 minute on a lightly floured surface. Cut out 1/3 of your dough and then use red food colouring gel to colour that so it's lovely and vibrant for the centre of our loaf. It does take a little bit of time to get a nice even colour, so keep working at it using some extra flour if you need. You can then move on to the white, but make sure your surface is nice and clean and that there's no red dough lying about. I'm going to cut the white dough into small balls and then roll them out into long sausages. You want these to be the full length of your baking tin. I'm then going to roll out the red dough to about 1 inch thick and then use my stencil to cut out some lightning bolts. Keep on going, and if you have any leftover dough, you can just knead that back together, roll it out and cut out some more shapes. Next we need to build up our shape, so I'm laying down a few of the white strips and then placing the lightning bolt on top. Be sure to brush off any excess flour so we can make sure it sticks together. Layer all of your lightning bolts along each other and then press them into place. All that's left to do is build up the rest of the loaf using the white strips to lock those lightning bolts into place. Start along the bottom, pressing together as you go, and then work your way up the top. I'm then going to flip that over and then repeat the process along the other side. Before our final rise, you want to prepare your baking tin. Again, I'm just going to lightly grease that with some olive oil and then place your lightning bolt in, being careful to check that it's the right way up. Place your cling film over the top, and then we're going to leave that again for about 45 minutes until it's nice and risen. Now, as I confessed at the start, it did take me a few attempts to get this one right, but this was the best and easiest method that I found. I tried a few others where actually all of it was made from strips and I built it up in the loaf tin, but when it hit the oven it kind of disfigured and was more of a red Gryffindor blob than a lightning bolt. So it does take a little bit more time to make those lightning bolt stencils. Use cardboard if you don't have a metal one, but it is worth it for the end result to keep the magic alive. Once you're happy with that, pop it in, let it bake and see what happens. And even if it comes out a little disfigured, it'll still taste great. Once the loaf has doubled in size and is just rising above the top of the tin, you want to bake that in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 390 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, and then we're going to turn down the heat to 180 degrees Celsius or 360 Fahrenheit and bake that for a further 20 minutes. You do want to allow it to cool in the baking tin before you remove it though, as it's going to be really soft and could rip. If you need to check your bread at any point, a quick trick is to tap on the bottom of the loaf and it should sound nice and hollow. I did make the mistake of slicing it from the wrong end first, but it's pretty simple to twist it around and then keep going. And just like magic, our lightning bolt breakfast is ready to serve. So there you go, our magical lightning bolt toast recipe is complete. All that's left to do is slice that up, pop it into the toaster, and then you can finish it with any topping that you like. The main question though is, what colour is your lightning bolt going to be? You don't have to copy me and do a Gryffindor red, you can make your lightning bolt any shade of the rainbow that you like. Let me know down below which one you choose. That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. I'm off for breakfast, so I'll see you next week.